do to bet sports.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are finally back and rolling. I was just getting ready to get going, and my computer totally shut off. So we're back. It took forever for it to come back, but we are back. So, Papa Dude, week off, 13-minute delay, but we are back.
Yeah, we're ready. Yeah. 2025 starting out with a bang, right?
Yeah, not good. Not good at all to get this thing started. And like I said, it wasn't so much that it just went blank and restarted itself for no reason. It was the start of, wow, it's taking 20 minutes for this thing to come back. So that was kind of the deal.
Yeah.
I was here about 10:45, and it's taken me this long since 10:45 to get back even where the computer works. So there we go.
And that doesn't happen very often with your computer, right?
Never. No,
Yeah.
I maybe once a year that'll happen. So I don't know what the deal is.
Maybe
there.
the internet. No, wasn't the internet.
Wasn't the internet. Nope. It was just the computer blew up on me. I don't know what was going on. So it just went blank. It went black. The whole screen went black. I've never had that happen before. So
Well, I'm glad it was you and not me.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm back. So that's the
Okay.
good news.
Let's get it going.
We've got a lot to talk about today,
We
actually.
You haven't been on
Yes.
in a while.
Yes.
If you're an Oklahoma fan, the shit just keeps on coming, and so
It's bad. Yes. Happy New Year, by the way, to everybody, for sure.
you bet.
Yeah. It's been bad at OU. The college football playoff has been bad, other than one game. One
Yeah,
game.
they've really been a letdown.
Yeah.
It has been. I think part of it is for me, my team's not in it,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not that interested. I think that's part of it, but the games, the one I was really looking forward to was yesterday, Oregon, Ohio State, and that was a total
Mm-hmm.
meltdown. And what is going on with Ohio State? They look so much better than anybody else. It's not even close at this point.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's are we seeing an era of college football beginning where these teams know the playoff is what's really important? Let's get there, and the regular season isn't quite what it was.
I would think that if it wasn't Michigan that beat them.
That's true.
I think it was one of those things where, because they look like, now, first of all, Will Howard has played the two best football games any quarterback I've ever seen is play. He is laying that football in to these receivers who are catching anything within 5 yards of him.
Yep.
His passes are perfect. Some of those and they're making every catch.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just so well rounded everywhere else. Their defense has been good all year.
Yeah.
And offensively, they've suddenly had a transformation. They have kind of gone. I think they sat down and said, "Hey, let's go back to doing what we can do and quit trying to be so physical, and just go out and wing it."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they've done. And their talent is at a very high level anyway. So, and Will Howard is he's the best quarterback still left in the playoffs right now. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
The
I
way
would
he's
say
playing.
so. I mean, it's the problem with college football, I think, in general this year is the quarterbacks haven't been real good.
No, inconsistent.
Yeah, and the ones that are maybe a little bit better than these that are playing, their teams weren't good enough to get them into the playoffs.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the problem there.
Yeah.
Look, I thought that would be a really good game, and then like you said, before I even decided I'll check the score, it was already over basically. The Texas game yesterday I thought was good. I do feel like a little bit like the game was over and then Texas kind of just blew it, and then man, they're lucky. They could have lost that game easy. They had it. Arizona State had it.
The targeting penalty that wasn't called.
That probably was the difference in the game. Well, at least Arizona State probably goes down and gets a chance to kick a field goal.
That's right. How can you not call that?
Mm-hmm.
How could that not have been a penalty?
Yeah,
Texas is getting all the breaks. I mean, you need breaks to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know.
They could have lost. I think Boise State played pretty well Friday night.
Did they? I didn't watch
I
it.
didn't see a lot of it either. I was kind of
Yeah.
watching some of it, but they hung in there. They didn't get blown out. Of course, Penn State's not the type of team that blows you out. By the way, I think Penn State is pretty impressive. They're very consistent. They're going to do what they do.
So like everybody's complaining about the seeding and all this kind of stuff, but then the game that everybody thought was going to be great wasn't even great. So it's like, I don't know what it is. I don't really think it's the seeding 100%. I think the seeding was bad. I think they need to do away with it. But look, I think everybody assumed Texas would roll Arizona State, and that was a great game. And then everybody assumed Oregon and Ohio State would be a great game, and it was a horrible game. So
I think, okay, can we sum this up maybe as there are no, well, right now, Ohio State's head and shoulders above anybody, but who's going to know what's going to happen?
They finally look like the team we thought they would look like.
Well, they look dominant.
Yeah.
And we've had no dominant teams all year. And there was no one in the playoffs that were dominant. None of them, really. I mean, Oregon, I guess you could say, but I think everybody kind of thought Oregon wasn't quite as good as an undefeated team should be at this point.
Yeah.
I was shocked they got blown out. But I wasn't real strong on them winning it all. I was rooting my ass off for them because of Dylan, quarterback. But I didn't have a lot of confidence in them. Let's face it, the SEC is not good this year. It's not like it usually is. Just isn't. We've seen it in the bowl games and everything else. They're just not dominant.
No.
And so when you don't have a dominating team from the SEC, it's kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just don't think the quality of play is that good.
Well, I don't, and again, some people were mad at me when I said this earlier in the year, 3 or 4 weeks ago. The SEC is not that good.
It's not.
It's just not. Folks, and I think it's still a good conference, but this is just not it's not what it used to be, and it's not what it has been. And I will talk about the game that's going to happen today in a minute, but Notre Dame's a favorite in that game, and that to me just kind of shows you, Georgia's quarterback hurt, number one, but number two, it's just they're just not a dominant league this year, and it's clear. Watch these bowl games. Michigan beats Alabama, and I know everybody's gonna say, "Well, it's a bowl games, who cares?" But still, Michigan beats Alabama, Illinois beats South Carolina, Navy beats Oklahoma. I mean, they're not very good. These teams aren't that good.
And you look at like South Carolina. That one shocked me. I didn't watch a play of it, to be honest. And I don't know how many players they didn't have playing, but I know their quarterback was playing. And they had everything in the world to go out there and prove.
Same with Alabama. Yeah.
Alabama sucks. It is that simple. They are no good.
They're not any good. And listen,
quarterback is terrible.
People argue with me. It's like, look, going to Oklahoma is tough. It's like, no, it's not. It wasn't though. Like Tennessee and South Carolina didn't have any trouble at Oklahoma. So well, I mean, they're just not very good. Like
they're not any good. Their quarterback is terrible.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Well, and I think that was pretty evident when you watched him through the season. He was very up and down.
Keep bragging on him.
I don't know. I don't know.
He's not any good.
Yeah.
That's their issue. That game, I didn't turn it on until 16-0. I took Michigan in that game because I thought that's way too many points. It was like 16.5. Are you kidding me? This Alabama team isn't any good. They're not any good.
So the South Carolina thing, because I was more shocked about Alabama, but I was shocked that South Carolina couldn't beat Illinois.
I was too.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I was very shocked.
But here's the flip side of it. Who did they really beat this year that was like that good?
That's true. Well, Clemson, but they're not that good.
They're not that good. I mean, that's their best win, and that's a good win. I'm not trying to downplay that win. But
shouldn't they have beat Illinois?
Yeah. And South Carolina, if they could have, beat Alabama, beat Ole Miss at home, beat LSU at home, they would have been in it, but they
Yes,
didn't.
absolutely.
And that's why they're not there. And they're good. They're a good team. They're a fun team. I liked South Carolina all year. I'm not trying to shit on them, but they're not like something great. They're not. They're just
A&M lost too, didn't they?
Yeah, A&M USC beats A&M.
Yes.
I mean, it was just weren't very good. And look, Michigan attempts 15 passes and wins the game. Wonder where I've seen that before. Maybe like 4 weeks ago in Norman, where OU never had to throw the ball and they were able to beat them.
So interesting in that game. I mean, like I said, I turned on 16-0.
Yeah.
Alabama makes the run to get it to 16-10. And I'm thinking, okay, Michigan has done nothing offensively since they got to hit 16-0.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to hang on. What'd they do? They came out and did the very same thing they did the first half.
Yep.
And Alabama could not score. And Oklahoma did the same thing.
The same thing. Exactly. Yeah.
Which tells me they have no fear of their offense.
No, exactly. And that's what I kept trying to tell you. It's like, look, if you guys want somebody else in the SEC, I'd much rather have Ole Miss than Alabama. This Alabama team is not any good. But I think people, they see that logo and it's still in their mind. Oh, they're monsters. They're not.
No.
And the thing is, I talk about the Oklahoma game all the time. Look at the whole body of work. They weren't very good at. People got nuts when they beat Georgia, and they did play great that night. But after that game, they weren't very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. And so, yeah, I mean, just getting exposed, I think, this SEC. Now, the flip side of it is, Texas, they still got a shot at it, right? I don't think they'll beat Ohio State. We'll talk about that in a second. Georgia, I mean, they're still in it with a chance, so they still might win it, but it's not, I don't know. They're just not that great of a conference. And nobody's going to convince me otherwise of that this year.
Well, I mean, look at their records. It just shows you. I mean, I know the league's tough overall. It's hard to win. We know that. But
there aren't a lot of horrible teams in it. Like these teams are good. They're not superior to everybody else like they have been.
And I would hate to be this year an NFL team with the number one draft choice. That usually goes to a quarterback.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's not anybody.
No.
How about Cam Ward won't play the second half?
Yeah, that was
stupid. Yeah. This is so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just, I am sick of these guys.
Yeah.
Had a lot of discussions with people over the break, and it's awful.
No, it's not any good anymore. There's no doubt. I couldn't agree. I mean, we've said this all year too. This guy, I think if Texas had a great quarterback, I would bet a lot of money on them to win it, because I think they are so good everywhere else.
They are.
They're this good. Guy is so bad.
Yeah.
Even on the play that, got the game tied on that 4th and 13. Yeah. The guy is like 5 yards behind the secondary, and he damn near didn't get the ball to him. He underthrew that ball, something terrible. The wide receiver had to stop and come back for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
guys, I'm telling you, too.
He's not good. Either
Sark is blind or Arch Manning's not any good. I'm telling you.
I mean, I think there's more to it than what we see on the surface, because is Quinn Ewers making a lot of money and they're kind of forcing his hand to play? Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm with you. I think because Manning's supposedly making a lot of money too. So if Manning was really that good or really that much better, I think he'd be playing. I really do. So I don't know what the deal is, because
I had every chance to play him.
And like, we've been saying it all year, and a lot of people in the chat have been saying it, but like people, like my friends that don't really watch it until now, I'm getting 4 or 5 texts during the Texas games the last 2 weeks being like, this guy sucks. I was like, he really isn't. He doesn't suck, but he's not.
No, he does not. He is a good player.
He's very average.
Well, he's done some stuff, but I'm just saying he may keep them from winning the whole thing,
I don't think,
which is what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Therefore, if you're the head coach and the other guy's better, you got to play him. and I just don't think Arch Manning's better. I don't.
Yeah. And I've heard this as well. There's an agreement, like an not obvious, nothing's written in college football, an agreement to where this is Ewers, he's going to hit the portal, Arch is gone, and that is something I've heard for a while.
Okay,
we'll see.
Do you realize how stupid that is?
I realize it's stupid, but I also realize it could be reality. I don't think the comment or the thought is stupid. I think
not the comment. No,
I think the fact that may not be far from true in today's college football is ridiculous. Yeah.
And that's where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wouldn't
be shocked. True.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's a thing.
No.
I mean, it's, I don't know. You just shake your head at some of this stuff. Yeah.
It's just a bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so
it's crazy.
Then, before we get going here, one more thing. OU loses their defensive coordinator to West Virginia, which is mind-boggling in itself. What's going on there? I think, I've heard, of course, you and I follow everything OU. There's so many theories. I think there's more just he's not comfortable. Not getting. I don't think he's in charge of the defense at OU.
We had that situation it's on fire, and it's over. That's the way I look at that. I mean, we're going to be bad again next year, and they're going to have to start all over, and that's that. I
think he weighed into that.
I think the only thing, there's two things, and one's not getting talked about enough. Venable's wife has cancer, and
I wanted to bring that up.
So she had some treatments last year, but it never really felt like, obviously it's a huge deal, but it felt like it was all positive type stuff. Yeah. Like she's having to go treatments, but she's doing well. This doesn't sound, nobody's reporting it, nobody's saying, and I don't want to speculate on a person's health. It doesn't sound great to me. And I think,
you got to cut the guy some slack.
That's where I'm coming from with this. The more I kind of read and hear people in the know talk about it, it's like this situation is nasty, and it's not. It kind of makes you uncomfortable a little bit.
Oh, I have been too. Yeah. Supposedly he's not even in Norman.
Well, see, that's the thing. And again, I don't want to get too far. I don't want to get too far into this, but supposedly they're in New York, and it's like that sounds like it's not good.
Well, and the thing is, we forget sometimes, and I think I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to as well.
Yeah,
these guys are humans.
Well,
they're humans. You got to look at the personal side of all this.
Yeah,
you got to cut the guy some slack.
It's
been all year. It's been the whole season. She got a relapse.
The first 2 years of the program, there were like, this isn't going to work type stuff, but it wasn't a disaster. There's been some things happen this year. It's like, that's not exactly what we even saw the first 2 years. Like, that's worse than the first 2 years. And there's just some head scratching stuff. And now it kind of makes sense. It's like, okay, this guy's like having to run a football program in a time period where it is just a disaster anyway, even if you don't have outside stuff. And then you got to deal with this, and it's just like, I think it's just crumbling, and it's all really, it just sucks. It's bad.
It does. It's terrible.
But you put that aside and you just look at the football. It's a mess. This is a mess right now.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. And that's, Kevin said, you can't run a college football program with that going. It's a 24/7 job as it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot worse than it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You got roster changes every day.
Yeah.
So you got to put up with that.
And
you're in a kind of situation.
You kind of see the comments, coming in like, oh yeah, it's understandable. And what's really becoming bad, and I get it, because I'm that way too. I'm very negative towards the OU situation, but the fans, they don't want to hear it. And it's just like, yeah, I kind of get it, and you kind of really like the guy anyway. And then this is going on. And this is the worst I've ever felt about that whole thing down there. I just don't, because, like when we were terrible in the 90s, it's like everybody was on the same page. Yeah, we suck. Get a new coach. Do this, do that. We're light years away, but we know what is the path for Oklahoma. There isn't one right now.
No.
So, I don't know. You got anything else on that?
No. Enough negativity.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Let's get positive.
I agree. All right. One last thing before we go. Let me pull up the comment here. Where was Kevin B's? I was scared to click on comments early because I didn't want the computer to frizz out. I was still running a little slow. Here we go. There it is. So Kevin said, still drunk from the Winter Classic. That was not why I was late. And no, I'm not drunk from the Winter Classic, but I did want to comment on it.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
We went to the Winter Classic. First of all, the biggest shout out of all needs to go to Heather, my wife, because not that I didn't want to go to it, but I wasn't like gun ho about going. And she pushed us all. She said, no, we got to go. We got to go. I want to do this, which was crazy, I thought, but okay. I said, all right, we'll do it. Fine. One of the best experiences I've ever had. I mean, it was awesome. They had it at Wrigley Field. If you guys don't follow hockey, didn't know. So hockey game, Wrigley Field, outside, Blues and Blackhawks, big rivalry. Both teams, Blues are okay. The Hawks are the worst team in the league.
Mm-hmm. And it's lovely to say that, by the way.
Yeah, and or for those that time period, you wouldn't have known it. It was such a they did such a great job with it. That we got to watch the Blues come in. They rode the bus in and they walked in with the around like giving high fives to the crowd and stuff. That was I told them, I was like, this feels like OU Texas in a way, standing there waiting for buses to come in to greet the players. Chicago itself, I was blown away. I've never been there. It was great. Everything was great. Wrigley Field was awesome. It lived up to the hype. And then, before the game, all that they did, it was just awesome. I had forgotten that Chicago fans, the Blackhawk fans, cheer during the national anthem.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that was amazing. Like that was
they
like
the
amazing. Minute they announced their it was their regular like anthem singer, that place just went nuts. And I was like, oh, I forgot about this,
Yeah. They're
it was awesome.
Great
a great flyover for the game as well. The Smashing Pumpkins were played before the game. I thought that was awesome. All the old people loved that. All the young people were like, who are these guys? So that was weird to see. But
I would not have loved it, and I'm old.
Oh, it was great. And they played the final song. They played them out on the ice. I mean, it was really cool. Thankfully the game was pretty easy for us as well. Kind of could enjoy it. And shout out to the Blues fans. It was probably like 60-40 Blackhawks versus Blues.
Is that right?
Oh my God. We were everywhere. And
great.
we took over the stadium because, they were just horrible. Talk about the Blackhawks. So yeah, it was great. It was an awesome experience. Freezing cold. It was so cold. It rained the whole time, right up until the puck dropped. So we were soaked, and then wind and cold, and it was awful. Yeah. So, but other than that, really good time, and really thankful that she made me go. It was good.
Sure.
So another big shout out. We were downtown, and we rode the train out to Wrigley Field, and then the train back. Boy, is that a lifesaver.
Yeah,
15 minutes you're there, 15 minutes you're back. You don't have to mess with anything.
There's no parking at Wrigley Field either.
No.
You have to ride the train.
I was stressed about that. She said, "Oh, we'll ride the train." I was like, "Okay, I don't know about that." No.
How are you going to catch the train? How are you going to figure out how to get back?
Again, all Heather. She did it all. So yeah, without her, we would have been lost. But the train was great. Probably the worst smell in the history of my lifetime on that train. I can't describe what it smelled like. It was absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. So
and Mark's got, as usual, he's got away with words. Football
yeah.
weather at a baseball field for a hockey game. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was definitely, I would rather go to hockey than anything. And I don't know. I guess I just didn't realize how like cool it would be until we got there. I was like, oh wow, now this is really cool. So anyway.
Well, and then the Blues played great. So
yeah, I was proud of them. They did. That atmosphere could have got a little bit wonky on them. I know that they were a better team, but it could have went south. But they did exactly what they needed to do, which is get ahead.
I picked them, but I was surprised they won.
Yeah,
to be honest,
same like I same here. I felt really good when they like got right on them right off the bat. They just boom, big goal, and it was all in the Blues in the first 10 minutes. It had to be because the Hawks fans, like we were sitting around some of them and they were like, yeah, I mean, we suck, like the guy behind me was like, this has been the coolest like pregame. He goes, unfortunately now the game starts and we got nothing, but they were ready. I mean, they were there.
Oh yeah. They're
and they were ready to get loud, but they just never could because we played so well. So anyway, it was a really good time. If anybody ever wants to go or think about going, I just go ahead and do it. Go. And like I said, it was very cold, but I would still, you need to do it. It's cool to see. So
we got to mention Cindy a minute because we always mention her team, the Bison from North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
And there they are again playing in the national championship game for FCS.
Yep. And that'll be Monday night, right? Monday night. I believe it's the 6th, January 6th.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty 99% confident on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah, and they do it once a year. Usually it's New Year's Day. This year is New Year's Eve for whatever reason. But yeah, they do it once a year. And again, I mean, even if you're not a hockey person, if they have it and it's at a venue that's really cool, I would go because it's just neat. I really want to go back to Wrigley Field when it's a baseball game because like the ivy's dead out in the outfield, so you don't see that. But you still got a good feel for what it's like. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to football. Let's talk about it here. So let's start with this. It's a shitty situation, but we do have a game today.
Terribly shitty.
The Sugar Bowl will now be played today at 3:00 after. I mean, the thing in New Orleans is crazy. Cybertruck, if you don't, I'm sure a Cybertruck just runs through a bunch of people. That's about the best way I could describe it, and blows up. And anyway, they were really worried about playing the game, and I think they made the right decision. Just don't worry about it yesterday. We're playing today. Notre Dame's a 1-point favorite. We kind of talked about the SEC not being as dominant. What do you think is going to happen today?
I don't know. Do you think was there any? I wonder if there was any consideration in moving it. I guess you just can't. You just can't.
I think all things probably were considered. I know that they really wanted to play it, but
definitely.
And I don't think you can take it away from because it's all set up and ready.
There's too much preparation that has to be gone into that,
yeah.
and you would have to. You just can't move it. You just can't because security would have to be everywhere. I mean, can you just imagine what the security is going to be around this place tonight?
Mm-hmm.
And how does it affect the fans? I mean, some of them have to leave. Maybe have to get. You plan to be there then and get out of there the next day, and now you got to change all. It's a bad situation.
Yeah, I really don't know what they're going to do. I
think they did what they had to do. They've got to get the game played. They have to.
Yeah.
So just hopefully nothing will happen tonight because in this country right now, who knows? You don't. It's just a mess. It's
not going well. No,
and it's just ridiculous what's happened to us as a nation.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's ridiculous what's going on.
Yep.
So the game, man, I have really struggled with this one. I don't know whether Georgia's better off without Carson Beck or not. Logic would say they're not.
Mm-hmm.
I think Notre Dame's pretty good. I want to take them. I don't like Georgia. I've not liked them. I just think they're up and down. I don't think their defense is near what it's been. If Notre Dame can play a clean game and play mistake free, if they're able to run the ball, their quarterback's pretty good. I'm going to take them tonight. I cannot bet. The only thing is, I heard some people talking about the game is in the South. Does that make a difference for Georgia that the game is in the South, even though it's in New Orleans? I mean, it's in the South, and sometimes those SEC teams play so much better in the South. Even though it's indoors, it has nothing to do with the weather. What do you think the crowd will be like?
All Georgia.
There's a lot.
Well, let me back up. I don't think it'll be all Georgia, but I think Georgia will have the advantage.
They'll have the mouth.
60-40, 65.
I'm leaning Notre Dame. I am. I'm going to go ahead and take them, but it won't surprise me if Georgia wins.
I took Georgia. I think Georgia might be a little bit like Ohio State, where they've kind of played down, and now that they're finally in the playoff, they're kind of ready to rock. I think that could happen. I've all along in these games this year, I've picked Georgia. Been disappointed a couple times and been rewarded a couple times. But I still, at the end of the day, I just look at the roster for Georgia. I look at the roster for Notre Dame, and I think they have the better players. I'm not really worried that Beck's out. I don't think it's good, but I think it's kind of neutral. Like he wasn't playing very good anyway. The kid comes in and wins the SEC championship. So I got to take Georgia in this game.
Isn't it funny how when the year started, he was the number one draft choice coming out of everybody was home. He's going to be the number one choice. And now in the quarterfinals of the playoffs, we're picking Georgia because I think they could win too. I'm not going to disagree with you at all.
Yeah.
With a backup quarterback. And we're saying maybe he's better than Beck. So because Beck has been really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's held him back a little bit. And
interceptions have killed him.
Yeah, and I think the other side of it, though, it's like we don't really know how good this kid is. Talking about Gunnar Stockton. I mean, he showed a lot of toughness. He also it was a pretty bad interception in that Texas game as well. So there were ups and downs with him, right? But if he was that good, maybe they would have played him a little bit more before. I don't know. But anyway, I do think Georgia's just better than Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame still to this day, I just don't know who they are fully. And I don't think we're really going to know until this game. If they come out and dominate the game today, then we're going to know they're for real, and maybe they can make a run at it. But I have a hard time thinking Notre Dame is quote unquote that good. You know, I don't know.
They just don't. I think what it is, they don't have the flash.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're just kind of like Penn State. They just kind of beat you. You know, they're not overly impressive when they beat you. But at the end of the day, they win a lot of games. And I hear you. I'm like you too. You look at Georgia and you think speed, speed, speed. You look at Notre Dame and you go kind of like a bunch of plotters. You know, that's the way you look at Penn State. When actually they're faster than what they look. But
this is definitely the game that I had the hardest time getting a good read on. So.
I can't. Yeah.
But I do like Georgia in this game. I think they'll get the job done. I really do. And again, if they don't, I'm not going to be shocked because again, it would kind of be on par with what we've seen from the SEC. They haven't been able to win a lot of these games, but the two really important ones, Texas and Georgia. Texas has made it to the Final Four, and Georgia could as well. And then you've got 2 out of the 4 in it. So we'll see if they can do it. All right, let's go down here real quick. We'll talk about the games, and we'll talk about these more next week as well. If I could get down to the next round, we're way down here. Ohio State's going to play Texas. That much we know. And Ohio State opens as a 6-point favorite. From what we've seen just in the playoff, it feels like Ohio State should be able to control Texas in this game. But what do you think?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Look where the game is.
I know. Yeah.
Texas.
Yep.
Has had every break this season.
All season, it's been like
all season long.
Yeah.
Didn't play hardly anybody in the SEC.
Yeah.
The playoffs, they got Clemson
Yeah.
and Arizona State.
And by the way, all the heavy favorites or whatever have just dominated. Texas is not. I mean, Texas dominated Clemson, but the game got close, and then Texas could have lost yesterday. Yeah.
And then they get to go to the Cotton Bowl. Well, not the Cotton Bowl, but it is the Cotton Bowl, but it's played at Jerry's World where the Cowboys play.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's in the state of Texas. So, and that makes, I don't care what anybody says. I know it's a couple hours from Dallas or from Austin, maybe a little farther than that, probably 4 hours. You're still in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Yeah.
I will be, and I don't like Ohio State at all. I'm the biggest Ohio State fan in Missouri. I'll say that. Oh God.
Yeah, I was a big Arizona State fan, and boy, I thought they were going to do it, and I hate that they didn't. Yeah.
And hey, tip of the cap to them.
They're
solid. They're solid. Yeah. They're pretty good. The other one will be Notre Dame or Georgia against Penn State.
Yeah.
And that'll be the Orange Bowl. Yeah.
So what do you think? Penn State has looked really good against teams you kind of thought they should beat.
They've had an easy road too, so to speak.
It's really hard to determine Georgia and Notre Dame how they'll match up yet because we haven't seen this game tonight. I tend to lean. I hate to say this. I tend to lean towards the winner of this game beating Penn State today. But what do you think?
I got to see the game.
Same. I don't want to put that as a top locked-in pick. Yeah.
If Georgia comes out and rolls tonight, then I got to go with them. If Notre Dame wins by 1 point or 2, I don't know why I say this, but I think most people will agree. I think Penn State's got a heck of a lot better chance to beat Notre Dame than they do Georgia.
I was just going to say, if Notre Dame wins, I think I'll pick Penn State. And if Georgia wins, I'll pick Georgia. I know. Here's the deal. I know for a fact I will pick Georgia to beat Penn State. No matter what the score is tonight, if Georgia wins, I will pick them.
I will too.
Because I
have a ton of respect for Penn State.
I have it. I do too. They're a lot better. And I'll say this, they're a hell of a lot better than I thought they were.
They are solid.
I think they're not good enough to win the whole thing. I will say that.
No, but, especially the way Ohio State's playing,
Well, and it's just like Penn State played really well against Oregon, but you never really felt like they were going to win. And then the way Ohio State just wallops Oregon, it's like, I don't think Penn State's going to beat them. And I know people Kevin for sure are going to say, well, Penn State should have beat them. Yeah, well, Oregon did beat Ohio State. This is just like a different Ohio State right now, and I don't know where it came from.
Level.
Yeah,
I do respect Penn State. I love the way they play. They don't get enough credit.
I think as a non-Penn State fan, I like Franklin a lot. And then you talk to a Penn State fan, they're like, I hate that guy, but I think Franklin does a good job. So
yeah, I'll trade you.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that. I just think he's solid.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
They're good every year.
Yep. Well, and listen, they're in the Final Four.
Their quarterback is playing well.
Yeah.
He's efficient. He makes the plays he's supposed to make, and he does it. He's not bad. Mm-hmm. He's, what is he, a sophomore? I think he'll be back next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, it should be fun. We will talk about that more next week as Penn State will play the winner of this game tonight on Thursday, and then Ohio State, Texas on Friday. All right.
That game's this afternoon.
What?
That game's this afternoon.
What did I say?
Tonight.
Oh, yeah, 3:00. Yeah.
I'm sure glad of that too, because I didn't realize it was this afternoon.
Yeah, so at first I thought they scheduled it for 7:45, but then I think they moved it to 3. So I don't know. There was a lot. It was hard to follow it yesterday because there was a lot of talk. Listen, you might look at that and go, well, they only moved it today. no, that's a mess with TV and all the fans there and trying to. That's a mess. That's a nightmare down there. And I would hate to be the Sugar Bowl right now.
And they had to play it in the afternoon because the winner has to play again next week.
Yeah,
they got to get them home. They got to get, that gives them a little extra time to get out of there.
Yeah.
Plus, I would think it'd be a little safer in the daytime.
I thought about that too, as well. And again, and I kind of agree with Kevin because, like he said earlier, it's like people that are mad about them changing the game, like they're crazy. That's right. It's like,
yeah, you make that decision. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, like
you make that decision, buddy, because there's no good decision there.
Play the game and something happens and see what people do, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they never should have even played that game.
Yeah. Give me a break. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the NFL now. And the final week of the regular season is here. Not a lot of games truly matter this week, so we'll kind of, we'll kind of go through it pretty quickly. Here's a couple that do matter. One might not, though. Let's start with the first one. Saturday at 3:30, the Browns and the Ravens. The Ravens are 18-point favorites. They win. Obviously, they clinch to the division. If they lose, then the Steelers could sneak up there still. Both seem very unlikely. Ravens easy in this one for me. What about you?
Yeah, I just got to look at the points. I guess the Ravens will play everybody.
Oh, yeah.
The way the Browns are playing, I think the Ravens' second string could beat them.
The one thing I would say, if you're going to lay 18 points, you might not get the Ravens' best in, say, like the fourth quarter if that game's out of hand. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Let's say they're ahead 17-0 going into the middle of the third quarter even. Yeah, they probably leave them in there too. But say they're up 24-3. I'm pulling my guys probably.
And they will.
Lamar's not playing.
Yeah, and they will do that. They will absolutely do that. Yeah.
And
it's kind of not fun to bet a game like that and have to worry.
Cleveland has no offense.
Yes, exactly.
No motivation.
Yeah.
How can you get up to play that game?
You can't. Yeah.
If I'm a Cleveland Browns player, I'm getting out of there the quickest I can. I'm hoping I don't get my knee tore up, and I'm just gonna write this off as a horrible mistake.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right. Bengals and the Steelers, huge game for the Bengals, and especially so the way I kind of see this going down is the Ravens will win, and now the Steelers have nothing really to play for. They're in, they can't win the division. Bengals can still make the playoffs. They need a lot of help. That's why I think they're 2-point favorites on the road. I lean Cincinnati because of what I just said. What about you?
I lean Cincinnati because they're a hell of a lot better than Pittsburgh.
Right now, yeah.
This is a team that needs their ass kicked. They should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe Burrow has had an MVP season. He has really played great.
Yep.
And they've been playing well. And that Bengals Cincy game or Bengals Denver game was good.
Yeah,
that was a good game.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals win. I think the Steelers have peaked. This is the team I would want to play in the playoffs. I think we've said all along they're not as good as what they were playing. And they hit this last part of the schedule where they had all these division teams. I don't think they'd even – I'm not sure they'd played a division game till they got into the last 8 games of the season. So you got 2 games against the Ravens. You got the Bengals. They're not easy. And the Browns beat them. One of those losses, the Browns beat them.
Yep.
So I don't think this Steelers team's very good. This is an easy pick for me. I'm going to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. We're both the same on that one. Pretty strong for me as well.
Me too.
All right, let's keep going. Panthers and the Falcons. This is a big game for Atlanta. So here's what has to happen. Atlanta has to win, and Tampa has to lose, and Atlanta will have the tiebreaker and win the division. They're 7.5-point favorites against this Panthers team. I thought Atlanta put up a great effort, lost in overtime against Washington.
I was sweating that baby, weren't you?
Yeah, oh, my God, was I ever. Tampa plays at noon. The Falcons play at noon. So there's Atlanta's going to have the motivation. That's another one. I think it's pretty easy, and I think it's Atlanta.
I do too. What have the Panthers got to play for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm going Atlanta as well. The only catch is that too many points?
It shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. The Commanders go on the road to take on the Cowboys here in a meaningless game. It's Washington that's a 5-point favorite. Any thoughts on this one?
Well,
I know there's
I
not
think
much
they
to
can-
talk about.
I think there is, because Washington can get to 6 and Green Bay to 7th.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, okay. The seeding, it does make a difference.
But I don't know whether that's a big deal either.
Well, the game we talk about next makes this less of a deal because they play the hapless Bears. Talking about the Packers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know whether I want to risk losing my quarterback in this game, knowing that Green Bay is probably going to win.
Yeah.
So I think they will play him though. You're right. It's a nothing game. So I think if I'm the Commanders, I want to keep winning. I think it's kind of important.
That's fair. That's a fair comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I would want to go in there with a big win. A couple of, they kind of slumped a little bit, and now they've rebounded and won a couple of games. I jumped 10 foot in the air when they scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
Because of course, I don't care about the Commanders, but I'm rooting for Tampa because of Baker. And anyway, so I think Dallas is done. I think the Commanders cover.
Yeah. And Rob says they have the 6. I think what you meant, they could get the 5 over Green Bay.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's a win and a Green Bay loss. Yeah. That's what that meant. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they do have the 6. Listen, and I've watched Daniels all year. I thought he was just fantastic in the game Monday night. He was so good.
He's good.
Well, I should say second half and overtime, they were super good.
Well, let's see. There's a big difference between the 5 and the 4.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, 5 and the 6.
5 and the 6, yeah.
Because you're going to get Tampa or Atlanta.
Yeah.
If you're the 5.
Yeah.
And who's the 3?
The 3. Well, it's the Rams.
Well, that's the West, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Rams. So is there that big of a difference? Maybe not.
Well, could Tampa? They could pass the Rams, couldn't they?
If the Rams lost and Tampa won, I don't know who has the tiebreaker. I'm not sure.
I would heck of a lot rather play the Rams than the Bucks. I think
either one of them is pretty similar to me.
Well, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I think Tampa's. I think it's pretty similar.
Good. Yeah, you're right. There's not much difference. The 3 and the 4 in the NFC is
not good.
They're not very good.
No,
because the division winners get those top 4 seeds, and you look at the playoff teams or the wild card teams. You got Minnesota sitting there, or Detroit, whichever one. They're only going to have 3 losses.
Yeah,
that's going to be a playoff team.
Shit, no, I forgot about that as well. It is between the 6 and the 7.
It is, yeah. That's what I thought I read this morning.
Yeah, because I forget about Minnesota. Yeah,
Minnesota and Detroit. One of them's the 5.
That's right. Bears and Packers next here. I mean, my God, the Bears are awful.
They're terrible.
Is this Green Bay will destroy them? That's my prediction.
I think so, but I did not think Green Bay looked very good last week.
Well, no, but they're playing the Bears this week at home, so that'll help.
You don't think Caleb's going to get up for this one?
No. Let's see. Texans and the Titans next. Okay. I guess the Texans are resting everybody because the Titans are 1.5-point favorites here.
Yeah, you're probably right. And I guess that's the thing to do. But if I'm Houston, I want to win a game. I don't want to go in the playoffs playing the way they are.
Yeah.
Because that'll be, I think, three straight losses going into the playoffs. Maybe that doesn't matter. I'm trying to think like a pro player.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But as a coach, I don't like going into playoffs kind of on a negative thing. So I would want to win this game.
Yeah.
But they're not very good.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. So I don't know how to pick that one.
Yeah.
I think you stay away from it.
It's not anything to get excited about.
No,
that's for sure. It's look, I think we've said it since week 5 or 6. Like this Texans team, they're not as good as what everybody thought they would be.
No, they're not.
They're not very good.
Not any better this year than they were last year.
No.
Maybe worse.
Probably worse. I think definitely worse. Yeah.
Yep.
Jaguars and the Colts are next here. Another meaningless game. The Colts are 5-point favorites in this one. This Colts team is a total just disaster, and the Jaguars are worse, but more expected to be an exact disaster is how I would describe it.
If you bet this, you're sick.
Yeah, you have to be sick in the head.
Yeah.
It's just a
got to stay away from this one. This
totally.
Is who knows? Yeah.
The thought of me putting money on either one of these teams literally makes me sick. Like,
exactly.
It's so bad.
Yep.
Speaking of bad, Patriots are 3-13. They host the Bills. Boy, this used to be a big game, Bills and Patriots. Now, not so much. Buffalo resting everybody as well. That's why they're only a 2.5-point favorite. But even with the Bills resting, can the Patriots win? That's the question.
Well, sure, they can't. The Patriots normally try.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you even care? I don't know. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
33 degrees. You got to go out there, and you're either going to be 3-14 or 4-13.
The Patriots until the last 3 or 4 weeks have done a pretty good job of looking competitive and playing hard. I don't know if that happens in this game or not. It's just another one that's just a throwaway game for me.
It is. You can't bet a team. I mean, the Bills. If I was going to bet it, I'd bet the Bills because they only got to win by 3.
Yeah, but you're betting it with all kinds of backups. It's just not a fun game to bet. I wouldn't.
I don't even know who their backup quarterback is.
I couldn't tell you
because I'm not betting this game. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, the hottest team in the NFL, not the Eagles, the New York Giants. They got a big victory last week, huge. A great win. I mean, wow, they're back. They have to go on the road now to take on the Eagles, who are resting players again, it looks like here. The Eagles are 3-point favorites. Can the Giants win 2 in a row to end the season?
No.
No. Don't know how or why it happened last week, but it did happen. We have to acknowledge it. It's not going to happen again. No.
Well, who did they beat? I can't remember. Was it Indy? They beat Indy.
Yeah, which is kind of like,
Yeah, but it's a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win. Exactly. Yeah. We're proud of them. I'm proud of them.
Oh, no doubt.
I think if they beat the Eagles, they're back, honestly.
I have high hopes for next year.
All right, the Saints go on the road to take on the Bucks. Must win for the Bucks. The Saints, obviously, they're just riding it out. No quarterback again. Spencer Rattler will start this one. Tampa Bay minus 13.5. Boy, it would be a real kick in the balls if Spencer Rattler kept Baker Mayfield out of the playoffs.
That would be awful.
Despite the Bucks losing 2 or 3 games, just in agonizing fashion, they still could make the playoffs with a win here. I don't see any way they lose this game, right? They're going to win.
They'll have to just choke.
They would have to choke, yeah.
You know, and I watched a little bit of New Orleans the other day. I have no idea why. Rattler doesn't have a chance.
They're just a bad team.
He can't block. They can't. Yeah. Of course, he can't get away from any kind of pressure. That was his problem at OU a lot. He has no elusiveness. Mayfield is just playing out of his mind.
Yep. It's a great year.
Of course, we're huge Baker fans. And to this day, probably, and there's been a ton of great players at OU, I'd say he's the number 1 fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And we've had so many quarterbacks that have been great, running backs, wide receivers, so many.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about him.
Well, he embodies what Oklahoma fans are.
I'll just say done that in Cleveland.
He
they loved him.
Yeah. Because he embodies what Cleveland fans are. Right?
Okay, he does not embody what Tampa Bay fans are, I don't think. And they absolutely love this guy.
Right. Yep.
Because you know what he does? He becomes a member of the community.
Right. Oh,
he does.
Yeah, he buys into wherever he's at. Yeah.
He's doing all kinds of charity work down there.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful family.
Yeah.
He's an arrogant little bastard. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But that's him.
Mm-hmm.
And his teammates love him.
Mm-hmm.
This is not that great a team. Going into the season, I thought they might win 6, maybe 7.
Well, I remember saying they might be the best team in the division, but with this schedule, they're probably not going to make it. And here they are with a chance and to win
And
10
they can
again.
easily have 12 wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how well they've played.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're going to be a tough out in that first game for sure.
Depends.
If they get in.
Depends.
Okay, so let's say they finish 4th and they play Minnesota.
They're going to play Minnesota or Detroit, whoever loses this game.
Well, I don't know if they can beat Detroit.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been waiting all year for Minnesota's bubble to burst, and it just hasn't happened. So,
yeah.
Anyway, yes, you're right. Look, I don't know, 13.5, they should easily cover that because New Orleans has nothing to play for either. So, I like them. But I got my fingers crossed.
Just got this alert. New Orleans mayor announces unprecedented security presence for Sugar Bowl, including my phone went off, including National Guard and other agencies. So it sounds like really, really tight security tonight at the Sugar Bowl. Look, as far as Baker goes, look, I mean, he's the ultimate underdog. You know, chip on his shoulder, and that was why Cleveland bought into him and why the OU fan base bought into him, because that's us, you know, inferiority complex and, you know, that kind of thing. So, look, he's had a great year. It's the best year of his career. I think they get it done. I wouldn't be shocked if they could beat Minnesota. I wouldn't be shocked next week, but we'll see on that. But look, I mean, they've had a really tough schedule until the last 4 or 5 games, and
they were 4-6.
Their path to the quote unquote, they're not winning the Super Bowl. Their path to the Super Bowl would be a team that's 14-3, and then a team that's 15-2 back-to-back weeks.
Yeah,
so not going to be easy. Yeah,
but they were 4-6 and dead in the water.
And well, what happened was their receivers, both top receivers got hurt, and that's what they went down a little bit. Yeah. All right, Chiefs and Broncos next. It's odd to see it, but the Broncos are 10.5-point favorites. The Chiefs are playing virtually nobody in this game. I kind of think the Broncos win this fairly easy. What do you think?
Boy, isn't it? It is really weird to see the Chiefs as a 10.5-point underdog.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it's so tempting to take them.
I wouldn't take them.
I can't imagine them playing anybody.
And they would be.
I guess you got to play a few of those guys.
I think they would be crazy to play hardly anybody in this game.
Yeah. I can't take Denver's 10.5. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're going to play. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a throwaway game for sure. Yeah.
I think they're going to win.
I think as long as Denver doesn't get. If the game gets close, I think the Chiefs might rally around and try to beat them because they don't like Denver, obviously. But
no,
if Denver takes care of business, I just don't see this.
I thought Denver played great in Cincinnati last week.
No, that was a really good game.
Of that game.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
I think Knicks is going to be really good.
We'll see. I'm not sold on it, but
pretty good.
He's been tough. I'll give him that. I don't know that
they need to get a little bit more weapons for.
I don't know how high his ceiling is. I think he might be a little Brock Purdy-ish a bit. I think.
Oh, he's better than him.
I don't know.
Hey, by the way, did you watch any of it? Because I had a bet on it, and that's why I was watching it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Did you see the catch Marvin Mims made?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did that not remind you of what he did down there in Texas that day?
Yeah, Marvin Mims, he can make those kind of plays. Yeah.
He's a good player. He's solid, I tell you. Yep. Okay. Oh, by the way, with the Chiefs, one more thing. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
Has he made a difference for the Chiefs?
Yep.
He's a stud. He's exactly what they needed. AFC people, good luck.
I know, 4 weeks ago, I was like, I don't think Chiefs are going to do it. And now I'm like, yeah, no, they're going to do it.
It's
they're going to make it. They're just playing better,
Yeah.
Okay. Chargers and the Raiders next. Meaningless game here. Chargers are, well, I guess, no, the Chargers have the tiebreaker. So meaningless game. I don't know that who the Chargers will really try to play in this game either. So,
well, if it's meaningless, I don't know why they would either.
yeah.
I've been impressed with them.
Mm-hmm.
They've slumped down to 8-6, looked like the old Chargers, and then they've won a couple of games impressively.
I will say this. They are exactly what I thought they would be under him.
Yeah.
Disciplined, tough, run the football.
Win when you're supposed to.
If he would have had the roster they had 3 years ago, I think they could have won the whole thing.
Yeah.
They had much, much better players with the idiot they had before than they have under him. Yep. And this team it's not like this team's like terrible, but
no,
this team is not what they were 2-3 years ago.
Nope. But you go back and you look, the Chargers of old lose games they're supposed to win.
100%.
This team doesn't.
That's the only difference. They win and won games they're supposed to win this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do in the NFL.
Yep.
That's what they've done. So
pretty easy.
Yes, it is.
Seahawks and the Rams, another game that's meaningless because my Rams are division champions and going to the playoffs. Seahawks, no chance. They do not, no tiebreaker situation for them. So the Rams are in. I don't know what you want to do with this. -6.5, honestly. Look, I'll just be real with you. The Rams are awful. They're the worst 10-6 team I've ever watched in my life. And it has been painful having to follow this. And it is a miracle that these bets cash that I made on them early because they aren't anywhere close to what I thought they would be. But they won it. They did it. So there's something there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I still hold tickets on them to win the NFC and win the Super Bowl, and I know there's no chance. They have no chance at that. None. They are trash. The game last week, trash. They were horrible in that game.
That's a boring. Well, that game coupled with the Seahawks game, I can't remember who they beat. It was 6-3.
The Bears.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Horrific.
I had the Seahawks at -3.5.
Ugh.
They hold the Bears to 3, and they can only score 6.
Pathetic.
That's what was the Rams? 12-6, 9-6.
It was like 19 to something. I don't even remember. But the whole game, I'm like, they're going to lose. That's cool.
Wasn't it 19-9?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. It's awful.
Yeah. The Rams, horrible. But they're my Rams, and they won the division, and so hats off to them.
You don't bet this game either. Who knows?
No. Miami and the Jets here. Miami a 1-point favorite. This is another game that's most likely means nothing.
Nothing.
So I don't know. Who cares, right? The 49ers take on the Cardinals.
This could be poor old Aaron's final game.
Yeah, well, who cares about that either?
Talking about that today. Oh, poor Aaron. Who gives a shit?
I think we're at the point where the only people that care about him are the people in the media. No, I mean, like,
I could care less.
Nobody cares about him.
He should have quit 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Bye, Aaron. You're done.
Yeah.
Great
later.
career. Get out. Give me the Dolphins. I'm taking them.
Dolphins. The Niners, Cardinals. You got any thoughts on it?
Oh, no, that's a hell of a game. No thoughts.
Yeah. All right, then finally, the best game, maybe the whole regular season comes down to this one. Vikings, Lions. Both teams are 14-2. Detroit is a 3-point favorite here at home. There's problems in Detroit because of these injuries.
Yes.
But what do you think? Can they finish this off? Can they beat the Vikings and win the division?
How would you like to be 14-2 and in a race to win your division?
Yeah.
I'd like to know the last time that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, 14-2 in the NFL is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But Minnesota is totally unbelievable. I just wait every week for them to get beat, and they just keep winning.
Yeah.
They're damn good. The Lions, I thought, was so impressive against coming from behind against the Niners the other day and winning. I have to take them. Their offense is so damn good. They are so good offensively.
Yeah. I'm with you. I have to take the Lions.
Their quarterback is not getting near enough credit.
No, he's really good. He gets a bad rap talking about golf.
He does.
He was pretty damn good in Los Angeles.
He had one bad year.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, he's just a trash guy, and then they go to, oh, he'll just be a trash guy in Detroit. No, he's been really good. So
I don't get it. I do not get it.
yeah, but
His stats are unreal.
I'm with you a little bit. Like, I keep waiting. Okay, yeah, Vikings, this is a game they'll lose. Yeah, Vikings, this game they'll lose, and they just keep winning these games.
They just keep winning.
Yeah, much
Did
better
you see?
team, though.
I thought this was really cool the other day. I didn't actually see it, so I'm just going by what I was listening to some people. How the players were waiting on Sam Darnold to come into the locker room after that game the other day. I guess it was when they beat the Packers.
Yeah.
And they were just all gave him a standing ovation when he walked in there. Is that not cool for pro players to do that?
Very cool. Yeah.
So this guy has got to be a pretty good guy.
Yep.
I mean, he was given up for dead, and look what he's done.
Yep. Yep.
And they're not winning running the ball.
No.
They're not winning with a great defense. No. He's making plays all over the field. It's unreal.
I forget who commented on it a while back, but sorry, I don't remember who it was, but said Carolina had a pretty good quarterback room just a couple of years ago because Carolina had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on the team.
That's right. They did.
That was 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
It's unbelievable, and it kind of makes you wonder how many quarterbacks over the years have been ruined by poor franchises and never got that chance, because both Baker and Sam Darnold even more so, they were just written off. Like, that was it. Yeah. They were done. They were busts, and now here they are. And they both have had similar years. They've been fantastic this year.
Now let's think in the NFL or the NFC. Who's better than these two with statistics? Goff would be one who would be right there with them.
And I'll just look it up here.
Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to argue that Baker and Darnold have been a little better.
So Darnold is 4th in the league in passing, 5th in the league in passing touchdowns.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
12 interceptions.
Yeah, and same with Baker. I think he's thrown 12.
He does throw a few interceptions.
Yeah. Now let me find him. So 4th and 5th for Darnold in the two major categories. Then let's look at this. Okay, Baker. There he is. He is 3rd and tied for 2nd with yards and touchdowns. So they're top.
He has thrown 15. Interceptions.
Yeah. So the interceptions 12 for Darnold, 15 for Baker. That's still too high.
Came up with this quarterback rating shit. Throw that out. No, that means absolutely nothing.
These are top 5 quarterbacks in the league based on yards and touchdown passes
that were thrown out to the wolves.
Yeah, they're horrible. They're bust. They're terrible.
I said Baker Mayfield couldn't play in the pros,
and the teams that drafted them are no better off now than they were when they drafted it, and they blamed it all on them that they couldn't get him over the top. They're just as bad, if not, Cleveland's worse. Well, they're both worse. The Jets are worse.
Drafted Darnold.
The Jets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they're worse. They're abysmal without
him. I think they would take him probably now.
Yes, of course they would.
That team's terrible.
Yeah. So
you don't think Baker Mayfield playing the way he's playing now. And by the way, Cleveland's got players. They got players. They're not abysmal. Their roster's got players.
They're better than 3-13. I don't think
this guy would have them at least 8-8.
No, I know they would because I've seen him do it.
He would have that team playing so much better.
Totally. Yes.
But they decided they wanted we've talked about it enough.
Yeah.
So
but it is good to see.
Pretty good stats. So I guess Goff might be first.
Yeah, let's see if I can look this. I don't know.
Who are we leaving out, guys? I'm trying to think.
Well, here I'll pull it up. I just got to find where I need to go, and I'm doing minimal stuff here with the computer today.
Yes,
I do not want it to. Offensive. So Burrow is number 1, Goff 2, Mayfield 3, Sam Darnold 4, and Geno Smith 5 in the NFL.
Okay, but I was talking about just the NFC.
Goff.
So the NFC, Goff, Baker, and Darnold are 2, 3, and 4.
Yep. When it comes to that's passing yards.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Let's see. When you go to passing touchdown, I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's see. Hold
It's
on. Here. Oh, here's a sortable list here. So NFL. Okay. So Geno's 5, Lamar 6, Mahomes 7, Brock Purdy 8, Stafford 9, and Josh Allen 10. That's passing
yards. Just look at this. Let's just look at this. Who would most people? Now and again, this is just hearsay. Who would most people say are the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL? Patrick and Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
They're 7th and 10th in passing yards. Now, that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but still, Mayfield and Darnold are ahead of them in passing yards. These guys, it's incredible.
Passing touchdowns, Burrow 1, Mayfield and Jackson tied at 2, Goff 4, Sam Darnold 5, Josh Allen 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're both ahead in passing and touchdowns. They're both ahead of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
And like I said, the big strike against them, especially Baker, 15 interceptions for Baker, 12 for Darnold, where Lamar's only had 4, Burrow 8, Goff 10, Josh Allen 6, and then Mahomes with 11. So that is the one bad mark on him still. And that's been a problem for both of them from the start, as with a lot of the quarterbacks that aren't the elite ones.
I think sometimes, I don't know about Darnold because I haven't followed him.
Yeah.
Of course. Baker is a gunslinger. He has no fear. He thinks he can throw a football into any tight window.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to put up with that.
So rushing, and these are going to be a lot of running backs. Let's see what quarterbacks are. Jaden Daniels leads the league as a quarterback with 864.
No doubt.
Lamar, 852. Jalen Hurts, 630. I'm just going through some of these. Kyler Murray, 550. Josh Allen, 531.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anthony Richardson, 499. Caleb Williams, 479. Drake May, 421.
And Mahomes isn't in there either.
He is like the assassin when it comes to running.
That's true.
He runs when it's going to absolutely kill you.
Absolutely
Nick's
right.
383, Purdy 323, Mayfield 310, Pat Mahomes 307. There he is.
Yeah. So he's actually ran for 3 more yards than Mahomes, and I would have never guessed that in a million years.
Well, I will say Mayfield has kind of become a little Mahomes-ish when it comes to running. He has made some runs this year that have been backbreakers for the other team.
Yeah.
But it's not. Pat Mahomes has ran for 307 yards, and all 307 have been like stabs right in the throat of the opponent. It's like
just killers.
When it's close and he takes off, I'm like, first down, touchdown. There's no doubt. I don't even need to watch it. Just turn the channel, turn it back on when they have the. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's uncanny what this guy's.
He's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
So's this guy that's leading the league in rushing.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, 2,000.
How about those top 2?
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Both washed up. They're hurt. I can't run anymore.
Yeah. Let me see something here. So Saquon's 27. Derrick Henry's got to be 30, what, 32? 30. He's 30. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be
that's old for running backs.
For a running back, yeah.
Remember, Tennessee didn't want him anymore.
Right. Yeah.
He's lost a step.
Yep.
You know, really? 1,783 yards, and I've seen him run and break loose and outrun the fastest guys on the other team. He's had a tremendous, but this Barkley, oh my God. Where would the Eagles be without him?
He gives them a legit shot to win the whole thing, I think.
He's a threat to catch the ball out of the backfield too. I mean, listen,
he's really been awesome.
They're going to be hard to beat.
Yep.
They are.
No, listen, that NFC is going to be tough to win. The top, it's very top heavy, and of course you get those.
So's the AFC.
Yeah,
the Ravens are good, and so's the Bills.
Yeah, no, that's true. The Ravens and Bills are pretty good. Yeah, and the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, those 3. I didn't even mention the Chiefs because that's a given.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And the Chargers could upset somebody.
I don't think
They
so.
could. I don't think so
I
either.
don't think
But
so.
it depends on where they get seated, and
I don't think they're good enough. I just don't.
maybe not. But what are they going to be, like a 5?
Let's see. Let's look at the standings here before we get out of here. Let's look at where they'll be. Okay, they're going to be well, I don't know what Pittsburgh will do. They'll probably lose. So the Chargers could be a 5.
Well, they're going to beat the
okay.
Texans.
The Chargers could beat the Texans. Okay, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Then they'd have to play the Chiefs.
I mean, it's one of those things they had to beat. I know they didn't do it, but they
Listen,
could beat them. But
they could beat the Chiefs. They
I
could.
don't think
I
so.
didn't say they were going to, but anytime you got to play a division rival, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, I agree.
I guarantee if you ask the Chiefs players who they'd rather play, they would say the Texans.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bills, Ravens most likely will be that. That'll be a hell of a game in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Bills will beat them.
Let me ask you this. What if the Chargers played the Ravens in the first round? You think they could beat them? I think they could.
No, I don't.
Okay.
At the end in the playoffs, you can't really win with tricks and being tough. Like you got to have the guys, and I just don't think the Chargers they're good enough. I don't think the
Ravens have a way though sometimes of just doing stupid shit and get beat.
That's fair, but I don't think they. I mean, yes, they could, but I don't think they will. Is probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about the NFC. If it holds like it does right now, would the Commanders beat the Rams? I think so.
They sure could.
Green Bay, I don't think. Boy, Green Bay, Philly, what a tough first round game that would be. I think Philly would win.
Green Bay can beat them. I don't think
either. And then Tampa, Minnesota, if it stays like it is, the NFC is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like we were talking, your wildcard teams are better than a couple of your division winners.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's just the way it is. So anyway.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
Don't think so.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So we got, what do we have today? We have Blinkers Off coming up later today. It's actually a really good week for racing. There's 4 really nice Kentucky, there's 2 Derby prep races and 2 races that should be Derby prep races, but aren't officially. So 4 really good races we'll talk about there. Have not heard from Magic Mike. They may take one more week off before they return. Haven't heard from them, but I don't know about you. I'm ready to get back to a regular week where I know what day it is. I'm sick.
I have not known what day it is since Christmas.
I hate it.
I thought all day yesterday was Sunday. I don't know why the NFL wasn't playing, but I just didn't seem like. No, I thought it was Saturday.
Yeah,
all day yesterday.
Yeah,
so
it's been weird. It's been weird.
Yeah.
I've had a good 2 weeks of holidays here, but I'm ready to be back to Monday is a Monday, Tuesday is a Tuesday again.
You have no idea how glad I am. It's 2025. I did not think I got to get this. Good timing. They're
all right.
Playing and changing the filters here today, so I got to go get this.
All right, guys. We're going to get out of here now. Everybody have a good rest of your day. We'll see you right back here next week. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week.